English news based on Ukrainians w Polsce custom gem show thinking. All right, let's break this down. We're looking at a huge story that's pulling back the curtain on the connections between powerful people, and it's hitting closer to home than many would like to admit. If you're new here, I'm Andrew Meet Rich. I used to work inside a state-run media outlet, saw how stories were twisted to fit the narrative, and I walked away. Now I'm independent, I speak freely, and I tell you what really matters. The United Kingdom has just recalled its ambassador to the United States, a man named Peter Mandelson. And why? Because of his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. You heard that right. Mandelson has been removed from his post after evidence surfaced confirming his very close relationship with the convicted criminal. The final straw was a handwritten note where the diplomat called Epstein his best friend. Think about that for a second. The UK's top representative in Washington, calling that monster his best friend. What's truly astounding is that just a day before, the head of the British government was on record in Parliament, loudly and openly declaring his full trust in Mandelson. And then, boom, he's gone. This isn't just an American elite problem anymore. It's clear the British establishment is tangled in this web too. It really makes you wonder, what kind of integrity can we expect from these incredibly important figures when this is what's happening behind the scenes? And people trust them, they believe in them. The fact that even the head of government was vouching for him right before the axe fell is what's truly frightening. It seems, bit by bit, the whole world is going to learn just who was involved. If you believe in getting to the truth, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you can, consider becoming a channel sponsor. Your support allows me to keep digging when others would rather these stories stay buried. Now, let's turn our attention to Europe, where the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, is pushing for some incredibly strict rules that will change the internet as we know it. She is now fully behind implementing age restrictions for social media, and she's already tasked a group of experts to come up with recommendations. She's comparing social media to tobacco and alcohol, arguing that just as society taught kids to avoid certain habits until they reached a certain age, it's time to do the same for the digital world. She's pointing to Australia as a model, where a bill is already in Parliament to restrict platforms like X, TikTok, Facebook and Instagram to users 16 and older. And make no mistake, once Australia sets the precedent, these rules are coming to the European Union. But here's the part they don't say out loud. This is the end of online anonymity. To use any of these platforms, you'll have to provide all your personal data for 100% verification of your age. The official line is that this is all for the protection of the younger generation, but the reality is everyone will be under tight control. The days of writing a comment, making a post, or doing anything online without being identified are numbered. It's just a matter of time. And while she's pushing for this, von der Leyen is facing a storm of her own. There's a growing movement among European Parliament members to hold another vote of no confidence against her, with dissatisfaction coming from all sides of the political spectrum. Experts are saying that the left and the right will have to join forces if they want any chance of success, because two separate votes will fail for sure. The leader of the Patriots for Europe group, Jordan Bardella, has hinted he's willing to extend a hand to the left on this, but the left is still thinking it over, even though they're just as critical of von der Leyen's policies as the right. So we're watching this very closely. The intrigue here is enormous. Meanwhile, over in Germany, Chancellor Friedrich Merz has declared that his country needs a much stronger intelligence agency. He's talking about countering hybrid attacks from what he calls increasingly aggressive competitors. Merz stated, and I'm quoting him directly, that the security situation in Germany has rarely been as serious as it is right now, not since the Second World War. He says Germany is fending off daily hybrid attacks on its infrastructure, acts of sabotage, espionage, and massive disinformation campaigns. To combat all this, Merz insists that Germany must develop a powerful civilian, military, and technical foreign intelligence service. In other words, the once-forgotten term German intelligence officer is about to make a major comeback. It's no secret that Chancellor Merz wants Germany to be completely independent in literally every way, and he's said so many times. It's a major shift in policy, and it shows you just how tense things are in Europe right now. If you're finding this analysis valuable, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And the pressure in Germany keeps building. The commander of the German ground forces, Alfons Mais, now says that the army needs to be expanded by 100,000 soldiers to meet NATO's deterrence goals. According to him, the German military must be fully prepared for war by 2029 to deliver on the commitments Germany has made to the alliance. So there's that date again, 2029. It hasn't changed. The initial estimates suggest a total force of around 460,000 service members, with about 260,000 regulars and 200,000 reservists. These are massive, ambitious plans. At the same time, Poland is urgently reinforcing its borders, sending about 40,000 soldiers to its frontiers with Belarus and Russia. This move was expected, especially with upcoming joint military exercises between Russian and Belarusian forces set to start this Friday, some of which will take place right at the Polish border. The Polish Border Service has also noted a surge in young men from Ukraine between 18 and 22 years old crossing into the country recently. And then there's Albania, which, believe it or not, has become the first country in the world to appoint a government minister powered by artificial intelligence. You heard me correctly. The Prime Minister Edi Rama introduced a new minister named Diela, which means sunlight in Albanian. Diela is the first member of the government who isn't physically present but exists virtually, created by AI. Everything is changing, and one can safely assume this is only the beginning. But no matter the changes, Edi Rama will surely remain. He's irreplaceable. Now let's head to Italy for a couple of stories that perfectly capture the strange times we live in. First, in Rome, the mayor, Roberto Gualtieri, has decided to follow the example of Paris and make the Tiber River clean enough for swimming. He's called the goal absolutely achievable and has already set up a working group to get things started. And here's the kicker. He claims the project to clean up the river in Rome will cost less than what Paris spent on the Seine. The mayor believes the Tiber is a less polluted river and that €1.5 billion should be more than enough to make it swimmable. And why not? There's a river, there's an opportunity to make some money. Paris did it, so why can't Rome? They're not even hiding the fact that they were inspired by the Paris project, though it's unclear if the inspiration was about the cost or about simply declaring the river safe for swimming. As of today, swimming in the Tiber is forbidden, with the threat of a hefty fine. But the most bizarre story comes from Venice. This is going to be hard for many to believe, but it's our modern reality. In Venice, pickpockets have taken a local citizen patrol group to court, accusing them of stalking. These activists have been filming the criminals, warning tourists, and reporting them to the police, though the police aren't too thrilled about it either. These volunteers patrol the city shouting, "Watch out, pickpockets," documenting the offenses, and sometimes even holding the suspects. But it turns out such actions are unacceptable. Thanks to a recent reform in Italian criminal law, simply catching a pickpocket is not always possible anymore. A thief can only be prosecuted if the victim files a formal complaint. The pickpockets are exploiting this legal loophole to file complaints against the activists who are trying to stop them, so the people reporting the crimes are now the ones in trouble. It's a paradox, but this is what happens in our time. The police obviously don't have time to run around catching pickpockets. It just proves the old saying, no good deed goes unpunished. These are the kinds of stories that tell you so much about where we're headed. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you value this kind of independent reporting, please hit that like button, subscribe, and consider becoming a sponsor to support the channel. Your help is what keeps this going. Let me finish with my deepest gratitude to our amazing sponsors. You are not just supporters, you are the very lifeline of this channel. Without you, these stories would not be told, this voice would not be heard, and the pursuit of truth would fade into silence. Because of your faith in independent journalism, I can stand here and speak openly, without compromise and without fear. And just in the last few days, more people have joined as regular sponsors. The Bumble Bunch, Paul Elamo, Edward Sodke, Michael Smith, Peter van der Jagt, and Peter Stromberg. Your ongoing commitment is living proof that truth still matters and that real voices cannot be silenced. To everyone watching, you matter just as much. Each time you subscribe, each like you give, each comment you leave, you strengthen this mission and send a clear message that we are stronger together. Hitting that subscribe button is not just a click. It is a choice to stand with something bigger. Adding your comment is not just feedback. It is proof that truth still resonates and that people refuse to turn away. So take a moment now. Subscribe, press like, and share your thoughts below. Help us keep this channel alive, growing, and impossible to ignore. Together, we become stronger, louder, and unstoppable.